You don't realize that you're impacting or influencing the culture, says Yvonne Orji, shaking her head in wonder. It's a TV show, we're just trying to entertain people. But the Los Angeles at HBO comedy Insecure, in which Orji stars as Molly Carter, a corporate lawyer with a tongue as sharp as her tailored wardrobe, has done much more than that, including inspiring audience members to call out inequalities. In an episode shown earlier this summer, Molly discovers that a white male colleague of the same position is paid significantly more. With incredible timing, the show's second season began airing in the UK days after the BBC was forced to reveal the wages of its top stars, exposing a cavernous gender and ethnicity pay gap. We got so many comments on Twitter, with people saying, "Yup, I've been there," or "I left my last job because of it," says 33-year-old Orji, when we speak via Skype from her Los Angeles home. After watching that episode, one viewer went in to ask for more money, came back and said that she got a raise. It wasn't as much as she asked for, but it was more than she was getting. The series, which rounds off its second season this week, is anchored by the central relationship between Molly and her best friend, Issa D, played by the show's creator, Issa Rae, two educated, young, professional black women making the way, messily, in work and love. And while on screen Issa's nerdy enthusiasm and misguided attempts at multi-dating this season, she introduced a rotation riveting in their excruciating awfulness. This season has belonged to Molly, whose misfires in her personal life are matched only by her frustrations in the workplace. Right on time. Watch the trailer for Series 2 of Insecure. It is also Molly, the only African-American employee at her law firm, who exemplifies the most extreme examples of code-switching, adapting her language and behavior depending on her environment. "I think Molly is just used to it, and does it unconsciously," shrugs Orji. "It comes with the territory. If you're a woman of color and you have any level of education, you have to adapt." She recalls a Hollywood Awards party in early 2016. "I was looking around this room, this sea of industry folk. If I had worn black and white, somebody would have asked me to get them a cocktail. The only other people of color there were servers." It was around the time of the Oscar-so-white debate, but Orji believes focusing on the ethnic mix of Oscar nominees is missing the point. That's just the manifestation of the problem, she argues. It's about access, it's about knowing a party like this where the deals for the next movie are made, is even happening, she continues. "I don't know how often white people look around and think, wow, there's really a lot of white people here, we should fix that. But I know black people often look around and think, wow, I'm the only one here. Why? But positive discrimination often places enormous pressure on those selected to be better than the white Malaboth counterparts, just to prove their place. If a person of color is able to fail and continue to work, that's actually real progress," notes Orji. "Otherwise it becomes this pressure, like, my God, if I fail then we'll never get another black movie made for 10 more years. Two of a kind." Orji with Issa Rae in Insecure. Photograph Justina Minspo. Molly has endured something of a personal earthquake this season, in discovering that her father was unfaithful, which shatters her long-held beliefs about her parents' perfect marriage and influences her own liaisons. Her parents' relationship was the gold standard for her and she was chasing that, says Orji. Then, everything she knew to be true and positive and beautiful about a relationship went out the window. This season, she has rejected the seemingly perfect Lionel Sterling K. Brown, and, instead, spoiler alert, embarked on an affair with her longtime friend, Dro, who is married, but apparently in an open relationship. Dro presents to her this alternate love story, and says, like, am I the only one that still thought marriage was one way? If everybody else is cool with adultery and open marriages, then what do I know? The moral ambiguity of the situation feels relevant for a modern audience, but could not be further from Orji's own experiences as a devout Christian, who frequently invokes God in her everyday conversation. Orji doesn't drink, is a virgin, and is abstaining from sex until marriage. "I'm 33 years old and I've lived most of my life this way, so it's not news to me," she says of the column Inches the Matter has enjoyed. "It's not a big deal for me, but I know a lot of people are like, how does that work in 2017? How are you functional and how are you normal?" For her part, says baffled that it's such a hot topic. "It doesn't affect my life in any major way, which makes me feel like other people out there must be having a lot of sex. Born in Nigeria, where her father was a contractor for oil companies, and her mother a nurse, the family moved to Maryland in the U.S. when Yvonne was 6. The extreme drop in temperature, from sub-Saharan Africa to midwinter Maryland, was a shock, but so was the attitude of her peers. I got bullied because I had an accent and I was different. I got made fun of by white people and by black people, she says, still shocked. They called me African booty scratcher. I was like, how are you going to talk about me? You look just like me. I was so confused. Last Chance. Orji stars in First Gun. She took refuge in study and, spurred on by parents who encouraged traditional, respectable careers, aspired to become a doctor. And then I realized I actually do not like blood, she laughs. Nonetheless, she went off to George Washington University and studied health, with minors in biology and Spanish. You can't just tell your Nigerian parents who are paying for your college education, I don't want to do this thing that you came to this country for, she reasons. She even studied for a master's degree to avoid disappointing them. And after that, I was like, you know, I think I need to go to a war-torn country, so I worked in Liberia for 6 months. That was also easier than crushing the dreams. During her time at college, however, she had begun to entertain the idea that she might be funny. Somewhat incongruously, as part of a Miss Nigeria in America pageant, she wrote a 5-minute set about what's funny about being Nigerian in America. People laughed and she entered another competition, back at her university. Then people started asking if I hosted weddings and baby showers and started paying me to do it. The first time I ever made $500 for a 5-minute set, I was like, I'm never going to med school, because I don't know a doctor that's making $100 a minute. Still, it took until her return from Liberia in 2009 before she confessed to her family that she had other ambitions. When I got back, there was a recession. I thought, this is great, she recalls. Now I can move to New York and pursue my dreams, because if I do fail, it'll just be among the masses of Americans without jobs. She began working the notoriously brutal U.S. stand-up scene, but the breaks didn't come quite as quickly as she'd hoped, and by 2014 she hit the beginning stages of depression. She found herself one particularly bleak day, in Los Angeles, crying on Sunset Boulevard. She relates a conversation she had with the Holy Spirit, as if he were a member of her management team. Freshly inspired, she decided it was time to create her own web comedy, First Gun, about being a first-generation Nigerian in the U.S. I knew I had one last shot before I had to go back to Laurel, Maryland, where dreams go to die. First Gun brought her to raise attention and secured her the audition for Insecure. Her openness about the difficult times is also indicative of what Insecure is trying to achieve. Molly, who is initially resistant to therapy, is told by her therapist that black women can feel invisible at work, and as if they have to have the perfect relationship at home. There's this idea, says Orji, if you are a woman of color, that you must never let them see you break down. That we've got to show ourselves in the best light, always, as the strong black women, and bring that black girl magic, all the time. She rolls her eyes and sighs. But that is why our show is so relatable. We are a mess, at best. Insecure concludes the 21st of September, 10:35 p.m. Sky Atlantic.